Welcome to the KMBest podcast, everyone. I'm not KMBest, but
True.
I just learned something terribly tragic, and I made KM click start recording because I need you all to know that this man who hosts this podcast has never seen the movie Rounders,
Yeah,
an
it's a
iconic
real.
institution. Please
I was just gonna say it's
explain
a real
yourself.
role reversal because, like, normally it's me being like, Jerry, you haven't seen, and it's just like any movie, like about anything ever, and it'll be like, no, I haven't seen it, or like I don't enjoy comedy, right? If I feel like, oh, you should watch Mel Brooks, he's like, I don't enjoy comedy or whatever, right? So there's a real role reversal because I think I will posit that part of the reason you're starting the podcast this is because it's the only time you ever get to say this to me. And I respect that. That is valid, and dunking on me for this is totally understandable.
I'm not dunking on you. I'm just like, how can you be a card game player and have never seen this movie? And it just needs to change immediately.
I like that it's like card game player canon. What are your this is actually like low key. Here's a pitch for you. What are your top 4 card game player movies? I've seen people saying things about Marty Supreme in this context, where it's like, what are your top 4 movies that are like, that's the feeling of being like just like all this high pressure stuff for the payoff of very little money?
Whiplash.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Is Rounders Mount Rushmore card gamer movie?
Yeah, I like, you know how whenever there's like even just like a poker scene in a James Bond movie or whatever, maybe you don't know this, but whenever there's a poker anything, I'm just like, this is going to be so cringe and so awful and so bad. And I think Rounders actually does a pretty good job of it. And it really does capture the essence of like, okay, well on Saturday I'm gonna go hit up this tournament because their prizes are high and their player base is soft, or it's only gonna be like 5 rounds instead of 6 rounds or whatever. It's a lot of like that kind of nonsense, and like a lot of similar stuff to like Queen's Gambit too, in a lot of ways. Not the same exactly. They're not exactly participating in like above board stuff. So it's really good. It's also just a good movie. It's got Matt Damon.
What? Just the tone of voice there. It's got Matt Damon. Like, that's an imprimatur of quality. Like,
yeah,
it's got Matt Damon. It can't be bad. Brother, I've watched multiple Bourne movies, including the late ones. I've seen some bad Matt Damon.
Dude, I just rewatched those movies not that long ago. They are bangers, but I would not say that they are good films. You know what I mean?
They get the third Bourne movie. I distinctly remember, I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theater, and I remember being like, why would they film it like this? The amount of shaky cam going on in that movie is like genuinely oppressive. You watch the movie and you're just like, I hate every artistic choice being made right now. Not for artistic reasons, just for like the visual experience of it.
I think it is very consistent with like someone who is going to shoot with that much shaky cam is also the person who is going to put that techno track in every car chase scene.
I do think that like there's a phrase that often occurs to me. I believe it's Hunter S. Thompson talking about how you can see the high watermark of like the countercultural movement of the 70s. Like, if you look hard enough and you're on enough drugs, you can see exactly where the tide stopped and rolled back. And for me, Bourne 3 is where shaky cam like apexed, and we're like, and everyone was like, we're done with this. Like, that's the exact moment where it happened. They were like, it happened, and we're just like, we are out on this. We've seen how bad it can get. That's the moment where the high watermark for shaky cam happened, and it just started rolling back from there. And good, for the record.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anyway, I said it in a weird voice because I think a lot of people hold Matt Damon in high esteem, but yes, there are movies like the Bourne trilogy, but I guess there's like 4 of them with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
and then one with Jeremy Renner.
I
Where it's just like, yeah, he's not in like films,
No.
you know, but like this is a good movie. I would not say it is a
Okay.
film. I don't think it's going to win any awards or whatever, but dog, for your lifestyle, you should watch it.
Sure. I will say my favorite Matt Damon movie is when he's being interviewed by, like, I forget what like Daily Wire ass outlet it is, but he's at like a teacher strike. And
Yes.
the person is like, well, 10% of teachers are bad. And he's like, okay, but like, what if you're a shitty reporter?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think it was the cameraman that he went in on.
What if you're a shitty cameraman? That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Matt Damon movie. Shout out to Matt Damon.
It's because the cameraman was doing that interview in shaky cam, and he was just like, "Why? Why are you doing this?"
If only he'd done that on Bourne Ultimatum. This is the KMBest podcast. We're going to talk about Marvel Snap. I swear, we actually are. I have a contention, and this might be a controversial contention, but what I want to do on this podcast, I want to go through the season pass cards from last year, and I want you to tell me, or I'll tell you, we'll have a discourse on. That is the sort of premise of a podcast. Whether Shou Lao is closer to being the correct level of power for a season pass than them or not. That's what I want to talk about, because I have a theory that he is going to end up being closer to correct than about 75% of season passes released in the last year. And the reason I want to do this is because I see people acting like this guy is the apocalypse incarnate. Like, I realize card game players overreact. Not really fruitful territory, because it kind of always happens. But I do think that like there are some very unique circumstances here where basically every season pass for the last 6 months has been, let's say, doggy ass in terms of competitive viability since Mr. Fantastic First Steps. And that has created a situation where people just don't know how to act when there's a good one now. My contention is that Shou Lao, let's call him a 10 out of 10 card, is closer to where a season pass should be, 7.58 out of 10, than probably about 75% of season passes released in the last year. So I want to go through season pass by season pass. We compare them to Shou Lao. We say which one's closer to what we think it should be. That's my theory. Okay.
You have the list, I hope?
I absolutely do not, but I have enough in my memory to cover us while you open the list.
Oh my God.
Ah! Yeah, I made you do work. You didn't expect that. We're gonna start
while I'm doing this, you watch Rounders.
just take an hour and 57 minutes to open a web link and then be like, yeah, I can't believe people call me a boomer on the internet.
No, I mean, this is kind of an old movie, so I think it's like a clean hour and a half, but
that's crazy. I know that Joe Russo, who is one of the Russo brothers of Avengers fame, is in my head mostly famous for being really goddamn annoying on Twitter. But he has this thing where it's like, make movies shorter. Oh, make movies an hour and a half again. It's just like, I gotta be honest with you, man. I think that's the wrong way to go about it, because I don't want to leave my house for an hour and a half. Like, I don't want to leave my house at all. But if I want to leave my house, I'm going to leave my house for 2.5 hours. Because to me, and this is just like degenerate card game player shit, but the price of the movie is the same. You aren't charging me less to go to the movies when it's an hour and a half. So I'll sit 2.5 hours because I'm getting more for my money. Give me Dune. Give me Oppenheimer. Don't give me this hour, 20 minutes Naked Gun. Give me twice that. It's just, I'm paying the same amount of money. All right.
I want a complete story with all the relevant scenes that you think that you need to have in order to tell the story. You know, I want no wasted time or footage, right?
I'm not saying I want wasted time or footage, but I like when things are fleshed out. You know? I don't want you to arbitrarily make your movie shorter to make it fit this runtime when it's basically value negative to me. Like,
well, for you, not for them, because they are charging you the same amount, but like, say it's 30 minutes shorter, then they get to fit an extra screening in for each theater or whatever.
Yeah, I like it even less now. Now. Yeah, you're just trying to take advantage of my time by charging me the same amount for something you get to sell more that I get to watch less of. I'm out. Go re-release the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition in theaters, then I'll go. Give me a 4-hour
No.
movie.
You know what they should do is for movies that are like 3 hours, they should just play it at like 1.1 speed and see if anyone notices so that they can get that extra screening in.
You know, I've done that in like when I make shorts, it's rare. But sometimes like when I do a short for Marvel Snap, it has to be like exactly 30 seconds. I will
speed yourself up.
I will 1.1 speed myself in order to hit that deadline occasionally. I have never seen anybody notice. Like I have done this in my content before where it's like I got to hit the deadline. It's absolutely there. Anyway, Iron Patriot.
Yeah, speaking of hitting deadlines, I'm ready to go.
Nice, I'm proud of you. Iron Patriot, definitely more busted than Shou Lao. Shou Lao definitely more close to correct than Iron Patriot was. That is my contention. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think that there's a lot of weird stuff where it's like, I don't know, if Shou Lao released then, would it have been stronger than Iron Patriot? Because I don't know, stuff like Maverick has come out. I guess Scarlet Spider was probably the year before. Yeah, it was, because Symbiote Spider-Man September 2024.
Yes. Yeah. You mean 2020?
So at least like that card existed. And we're talking about release Iron Patriot, not like the current.
Yep, release Iron Patriot. The current, like the release Iron Patriot was stronger than this. The -4. It was also in more decks than this. It was also more widespread than this.
I think so. I think Iron Patriot had a thing where if people wanted to contest it more, they could have, and they chose not to.
I think that's also happening with Shou Lao right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
How would you recommend they contest Shou Lao?
Play a combo deck. Like, just ignore it. Just the problem is that Shou Lao has just enough coverage between Decord, Merlin, which is like Shou Lao is legit kind of a Merlin merchant in the sense that if it couldn't play Merlin, it would lose to every deck that plays Magic. But it can play Merlin, so it kind of doesn't. Like that it just gets to skate on a bunch of its bad matchups by virtue of Merlin and Decord, where if you're playing an onboard combo deck, there's usually a good Decord hit, and if you're playing a from hand combo deck, you're usually playing Magic, and it just gets to skate on both of those because of that. I do think that the card itself is quite strong. I just also think that like the things making it as strong as it is are definitely these matchup specific things where otherwise you just be like, well, I don't care. You're bounce. I'm just going to play a deck that goes bigger than you, right? Anyway, Iron Patriot, that is one on the tally for card that is more incorrect than Shou Lao. Either stronger than Shou Lao is or weaker than Shou Lao is strong. Iron Patriot, I think we can comfortably say an 11 out of 10 card. Or if you want to make Shou Lao a 9, it is a 10. Whatever you want to say, it's a notch above. Next up is
February.
Yeah, we don't even have to talk about this.
Wilson.
There's not even a conversation to be had. This is like the best card they've ever made.
Also, in terms of like, oh, did this show up in more places? Yes. Yes, it did.
Infinitely more places. It's still, after being nerfed. Okay, so it lost a point of power. The cost on the thing. It lost the ability to even spawn it. It's been nerfed, I want to say 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
And it is still in the only other mid-range deck that is able to deal with Shou Lao. It is still a meaningful counterweight to Shou Lao after being nerfed this many times. I'm not saying it's better. Probably not better. But I can tell you for sure the other deck wouldn't exist if it wasn't a card. It just literally, it is actually legitimately the linchpin of the Kraven Batroc stuff, which is, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many other players at a very high level of this game, the only other mid-range deck that is on the same level here. It has been a year, it has been 3 or 4 nerfs, and he is still maybe the most important card in a deck that is just as good. Those
are the best nerfs.
This guy is a beast. He was a beast. He is a beast. There's really nothing else to say here. If Shou Lao is a 10 out of 10 card, this guy was a 15.
I don't know. His movie kind of stunk.
I never saw it. Can you yell at me like you did for Rounders?
No, I certainly will not.
All right. Who's next?
We got Agamotto.
This is the gold standard for season passes. Like, every season pass should be this. This is, when I think of what a season pass should be, exactly the card I think of. This is the first card in the season, in the year, that is a better season pass than Shou Lao in terms of where it's positioned power-wise. I don't think they can do better than this guy.
Yeah, it's hard, especially because the card itself is just like pretty fun. It's like shuffling cool things into your deck that are pretty powerful and give you good brain chemicals, even if it doesn't give you a lot of cubes or like win rate percentage. This is one of the cards where I was fairly confused as to why people kept playing it in like certain places and the frequency at which they played it, where I was like, I don't think that this card is that strong, but people were basically like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think if you have an argument against Agamotto, it's that he's a little too weak. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, if you think that this card isn't the perfect season pass, it's probably because you think he's a little too weak to be the perfect season pass. But either way, I think he is basically exactly the space that they want to hit. A 7 or 8 out of 10. That's just like, this is awesome and super cool.
I think if the situation where you draw Agamotto and then you draw his 1-cost spell, if they fix the feel bad of that, then that would go a long way.
Yeah, they probably should do that, especially because they fixed the feel bad on Shou Lao, right? Like, it's just a good thing. I've seen people propose the nerf that, like, they make it so he doesn't say last character anymore. And I just feel like that's the worst nerf I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Yeah, what we did was we make this card work less. Our nerf is our nerf is an IQ check. Never do that. Never do that.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's bad. It's really bad. I think that's it for Agamotto. Who's next?
April was Captain Carter.
Pretty obviously significantly worse than this card. It had to be buffed in 2 weeks. Released as a 4/3. Yep. Absolutely abysmal dog shit. I almost think it's not even worth talking about base Captain Carter here. We are, for the purposes of the tally, that is one card that is significantly worse than Shou Lao is good. Significantly. Let's assume the baseline is 7. This card released at like a 2. Shou Lao is not a 12. This is not, it ain't anything. Do you think 3/2 Captain Carter is a good season pass card, though?
I think it's pretty good. My qualms with this card is that she does require a lot of specific things. It's like you kind of have to buff her or maybe play her with other ongoing stuff, and that is sort of limiting. Whereas something like Agamotto is fairly open-ended, or even like Iron Patriot. And you could say a lot of the same stuff about Sam, but like Sam has enough hooks to where it was just sort of bottomless, especially on release when the shield cost
hooks.
1. And
Sam is nothing but hooks. There's nothing but hooks in that card. This is one hook.
So yeah, I guess my issue is that Carter is not a card that you can just like put in a deck and play and be happy with.
Yeah, I think you could pretty reasonably argue that for a season pass, Shou Lao is still closer to correct than even fixed Captain Carter. I think you could argue that based on the logic that you've presented here, and I think I would listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, Shou Lao has kind of the same stuff. You can't put him in any deck, but
you can't. But yeah, his asks are a lot less stringent than Carter's, though. Like, there are more things that allow you to do Shou Lao, from Kitty Pryde to Kate Bishop to Prowler to Merlin to Deafening Chord, things like that. Like, there are just more things in that space. It is
just telling you to lower your curve.
Yes.
Definitely do that. And then you'll be fine.
Yeah. Like, there's stuff going on here. But another note, I think, on Captain Carter is it's just a card that strikes me as a weird season pass card generally. I'm kind of shocked they got it to a space where it's actually like kind of a good card, because that card seems like it not only is hard to balance, but also has very few real knobs. Like, let's say the 3/2 Captain Carter needs a balance change. Isn't that just like the most impossible thing in the world to do? Where do you even go from here?
Well, you could do the really horrible thing of going to 3/1, but you could also go up to like 4/4 or something.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even, that card is ridiculous. It strikes me as like the kind of card that should absolutely never have been a season pass card. That is the most Series 5 card of all time, where it's like, oh, there's like some specific homes and like it's very awkward, but like they could have gotten into so much trouble with this card if it was a season pass card. Like, imagine Captain Carter came out too strong and they had to take a point of power off it, and taking a point of power off it is effectively taking like 4 points of power off it, and then you just kill it. Like, they could have gotten into so much trouble with that card. They skated on what I think was likely a decision they wouldn't make in hindsight to make that card the season pass.
Trying to figure out like what else was released in this season to see if there was another.
I don't know if there was like a card that could have swapped in. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not like high level enough to figure that out, but it definitely strikes me as like Captain Carter was a card I remember thinking this at the time, and I remember thinking it now, which happened 5 seconds ago. So of course I remember it, but I am old, so who knows? This is just a card that probably shouldn't have been on the season pass. Like, for several reasons, I think I could make a pretty coherent argument this was one of the worst season pass card choices that they made, I think.
Well, hindsight is 2020 and all that.
Sure is. And I'm wearing glasses. Who's next?
In May, we have Esme Cuckoo.
Look, okay, I got like 5 hours of sleep last night. I just finished recording another podcast. I'm sorry for the low energy reception here. I'm just going to say, imagine some fart noises here instead of making the fart noises. You know what I mean? That's what I'm apologizing for here. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just want you to imagine me just, making fart noises. And that's sort of the conversation about Esme Cuckoo.
I like Esme in theory, but then you play with her and it plays out a lot worse than you could have imagined, I think. 3 is just very clunky for her and her clone, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's Ancient One problems, right? Like, it's a 3 that makes a 3, and you just never get to play both.
Yeah.
They fixed it for Ancient One, and they can't fix it for Esme because they made a card that says, I sometimes tutor Mr. Negative. And so, like, if you actually buff it, they're just like, I don't want to do that, right? like this is one of those cards where it's like, it's like, oh, we should 3/5 her, right? And then you think about the implications of doing that, and you're like, does that make the game more fun? And every time you ask yourself that question, the answer is just no. Like, it's just a card that never makes the game more fun. It is another very awkward design. Definitely another card that Shou Lao is more close to correct than, because this card is super mid, only does one thing, basically a fart in the wind, and I would say maybe a 3 out of 10 card, which is just very far off from where these cards should be.
Agreed. I can't wait for the other Cuckoo sisters, though. Let's go.
If you want them, they're just on every Esme variant. Do you know that, like, basically no Esme variants are actually a picture of Esme? It's always, like, Sophie or some shit. You probably didn't even know who Sophie was.
That's silly.
Yeah, well, Sophie's the cool one. She, this is such a sick story. Okay, so the plot is Kid Omega, Quentin Quire, is like a punk. He's like a nerd in Professor Xavier's school. He's like a big old nerd, loser ass dork guy, right? And he becomes a fascist to impress a girl. He is later, that girl, of course, being Sophie. He also gets addicted to a drug that enhances his mutant powers. It's a whole deal, right? But basically, he becomes a fascist to impress a girl. Dyes his hair pink.
Is Sophie the kind of girl who is gonna be impressed by that dude being a fascist?
No, what she does in response to the reason we learned that he did it to impress a girl is because she takes a bunch of the drug that enhances her powers, sort of mind melds with her sisters. That's their thing. They're the 5-in-1, and like brutally telepathically obliterates him until he dies, admitting that he only did it to impress her in the first place, and then she dies because she overdosed. That's the plot. Now,
Wow.
Quentin Quire has died, I want to say, like 5 times. It happens a lot, but this is the first one. And the one who did that was Sophie. Sophie's like a big part of this. Like Sophie's like the main one when these ones are introduced. And so a lot of the pictures you see of them, Sophie's like the one in the front. And so a lot of Esme art is Sophie. And that's how you end up with that.
But like Esme is in it.
Yeah.
No?
If I'm not mistaken, she's the one who ends up killing Emma Frost. Again, it didn't take, but that's life.
It never does.
Yeah.
It never does.
I want to say she's the one who ends up killing Emma Frost and joining the Brotherhood or Magneto in them. But honestly, that could have been another one. Like, there are 5 of them, and they all have names like this, and they all look like that. It's been a while since I've read it. I remember the Quentin Quire stuff vividly because it's like a commentary on like bullied people becoming oppressors. It's like honestly fairly reasonable, and there's just a bunch of like you get a good look into like just like what it's like to be an X-Man whose power sucks really bad, like Beak or Angel Salvatore, and like all these people who are just like genuinely like physically deformed without any of the upsides a lot of the time. That kind of stuff is pretty interesting because you get that at the same time as like Quentin Quire, who has the sickest power on Earth. He's an Omega level telepath, just losing his mind because he like can't get laid. Like it's nice. It's like they're doing some stuff. It's a good story. It falls apart right around the time that, if I'm not mistaken, Esme becomes like an important character when they reveal Zorn to be Magneto. It sucks. It starts just really sucking really hard. And that's where I sort of checked out, which is why I don't remember if Esme is the one that joined the Brotherhood, because it's like, oh, this sucks now. I'm out. And that's what I recall of that storyline.
Yeah, well, it sucks so hard that they had to retcon that, so.
They did. It sucked a lot. Who's next?
Well, in June, we have Merlin.
I think this is actually like a pretty compelling debate where it's like, is Merlin better or is Shou Lao better? I think a lot of people are going to come down on the side of Shou Lao. I'm going to say those people are wrong. Merlin's a better card.
Merlin certainly enables more stuff. Merlin is like the driver in a lot of instances, and Shou Lao is the DPS, right? And
yeah, Shou Lao's the AD carry, Merlin's the support. This is like an Ashe. I don't know who a support in modern Marvel Snap in modern League of Legends is. Probably like some guy they made up 2 years ago, but like Soraka.
Yeah, I don't know anything about League, thank God. Yeah. But yeah, they're not really comparable in that metric, but I think it is pretty easy to see that Merlin is doing sort of like the Iron Patriot or Sam Wilson thing, I guess, is a more reasonable comp, where it's showing up in a lot of places, facilitating a lot of things, doing a lot of cool stuff. Also, fairly unique in that, I guess, again, this does sort of comp to Sam, though. We're like clearly out of line, clearly overtuned compared to everything else, but people are just like, I don't know, this card's fun, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I think that's actually the argument that it gives me the most pause if I'm talking about which one's a better season pass card, is that Merlin's just way more fun. Merlin's just a funner, cooler card, and I think you could argue that makes him, even though he's probably just as much of a power outlier, just a better season pass card.
For sure. I mean, you're selling people a thing And at no point did they really have buyer's remorse for it because it is really powerful and you're probably winning a lot or at least taking a lot of game actions, feeling like you have a lot of agency, whatever. Like it is just good brain chemicals all the way down, right?
Yeah.
And then you are also not the villain for just like playing a Merlin because your opponent's probably also playing Merlin and you're both just having a lot of fun. And it's just everyone's kind of happy, you know?
I basically agree with that. That makes perfect sense to me. I see absolutely nothing wrong with anything you said. I think we're gonna put Merlin in a question mark and come back to him later. Where it's like, is this a better season pass card than Shou Lao? Is it a stronger season pass card than Shou Lao? What are we actually using this list to rate? Because originally it was like, let's talk about things that are more strong than Shou Lao or weaker than he is strong. Merlin is neither of those things. I think he's comparably powerful, but I do think that like if you're talking about like, is it a better season pass? Probably edge Merlin because I think they're the right amount of strong. They're the same amount of strong, but Merlin's cooler. But I'm not sure if that's what we're rating.
I mean, it does show up in more spots too. There is that aspect of things. I think if I had to choose like what card I wanted on my account, and if I could decouple the fact that like my Shou Lao wants Merlin, I would still say that my account wants Merlin instead of Shou Lao.
That's probably true. We'll say this is a mark in the middle column. This is the only one that we're going to probably have to come back to and like after we're done. But right now, I believe that makes it 4 cards that are more wrong than Shou Lao. 1 card, that of course being Agamotto, that is clearly better than Shou Lao in terms of being what a season pass could be, better balance, all of that. And then 1 card that I think is arguably ambiguous in the form of Merlin. So that's where we are. That's where we are 6 months into the year. Who's next?
July, another pretty bad movie.
Oh no,
Mr. Fantastic at First Steps.
Yeah, we don't even have to talk about this one. Pass. We're good. What do we even say? Like this is the card that was probably it was probably better than Iron Patriot if I had to guess. That's what I would say for Mr. Fantastic First Steps. Better than Release Iron Patriot. Maybe worse than Release Sam Wilson. Hard to say there, I think. Probably.
But then, certainly different.
Yeah. I don't want to introduce this element, but we probably should. Also got nerfed the worst of all those cards.
Yes. Oh,
it's like, I don't understand why they did what they did.
Taken out, back behind the woodshed, and they just put them down.
I just don't understand how 3-4 was earlier on their list than like 2-0. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe guessed that like 2-0 looks bad for sure, but like I think at 2-0 it would still be a card that you put in your deck and you're still having the same amount of fun, like watching the numbers change and whatnot. And then at the end of it, you like polymorph them or something. Yep. And maybe they just didn't want that. Maybe they're like, I don't know, but
I don't know. It's
maybe, yeah, they did think that like 3-4 would see play, but it's clunky in the same way that like Esme is clunky. It's just like, well, now we're not getting a lot of turns to take advantage of this. So what's even the point, really?
Yeah. Either way you slice it, whether you look at post nerf or pre nerf, this is a card that is worse than Shou Lao in terms of it's either stronger than Shou Lao pre nerf or weaker than Shou Lao is strong post nerf. No way to slice this that does not make the comparison look good for Shou Lao.
Yep. August, we have Galactus First Steps.
I will argue that despite this being a correct and good season pass, the fact that it had such a lukewarm reception is what is a result of reverse Shou Lao syndrome, which is this card is perfectly fine. This is the exact right level of power for season pass. This guy is one of the best 6-drops in the game and has been ever since he came out. He's a pretty key feature of the ramp deck. He's just good. But when he came out, everyone was used to having their back blown out by season pass cards. Everyone was like, holy shit, I got a season pass card and it is the best card in the game. And so Galactus First Steps comes out and he's just like a normal amount of good. And people are like, this card sucks, bro. It's the reverse Shou Lao, because now we've had 6 seasons of cards that are worse than Galactus First Steps.
Well,
it's like, but this,
so check
I
this
will
out.
argue.
Check this out. Before Captain America and Iron Patriot, the previous season passes were Galacta, Surtur, Agent Venom, Symbiote Spider-Man, which is a brick, fine, Hawkeye Kate Bishop, and Gwenpool.
Yeah, it's a lot of hits. It's a lot of hits.
So that's 7 bangers with a Symbiote Spider-Man in the middle, and then Agamotto, which was a banger, 2 bricks between Captain Carter, Esme, and then Merlin, Mr. Fantastic's First Steps. So out of like the year previous, there were like 3 that were like kind of bad, but yeah, the rest were back getting blown out, and it's just like, oh, Galactus is just good.
Yeah. It's the reverse. Like, my contention here is what happened to Galactus is the opposite of what's happening to Shou Lao right now. What happened to Galactus is everyone was judging him against his predecessors, and his predecessors were really good. What's happening to Shou Lao is everyone is judging him against his predecessors, and his predecessors mostly sucked ass. Like, yeah. That's the difference in reception here. Galactus is probably a great season pass card. Maybe the space is wrong, but in terms of balance, that guy's exactly where he's supposed to be. They nailed it. A+. That's an Agamotto level, like, absolutely just closer to what a season pass is supposed to be than Shou Lao is. Not needing to get nerfed, Shou Lao probably does. Really kind of ends that conversation, honestly.
Yep. September, we have Vision, another card that was buffed a couple weeks in.
And still sucked. Like, the stinker to end all stinkers. I was dead wrong on this card. I was like, this card seems kind of cool. It turns out it's just not worth it. There's just not enough stuff to do with her. And the difference between her and Iron Patriot is stark, where your 3s are way bigger than your 2s are. And she's a 3/3, and you're giving up a lot more to play a bad 3 than you are to play a 2/3. You know what I mean? Iron Patriot was on rate at 2, and so it could help reasonably contest its own lane. This card is so below rate at 3 that it just couldn't do that in any meaningful way. And it just basically doesn't work. This card is way worse than Shou Lao is good. Way worse.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that this is also like a pretty tough card to balance, because if this card is
if it's good, you
really
just hate
good,
it. Yeah.
yeah, then it's super frustrating. It is the hardest snowballing card that they have probably ever made. So I don't know. I think it does kind of have to keep this stat line, but then it just ends up not being like in a very satisfying place.
It's a Captain Carter type, why is this the season pass kind of thing? Like,
yeah, I could see that.
Because if it starts working, it feeds into itself, right? Starts working, and then you keep winning, and it's like, oh, that's the worst thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And so there's just not really a good solve for it, other than, like, at least Iron Patriot happened once. Imagine if Iron Patriot just did that every turn, right? Like, that's,
yeah,
like, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think this is a good space for you guys to be in, period, let alone on a season pass.
It does feel like, okay, if I win this flip on turn 3, I will probably win the game. And if I lose the flip, I'm definitely losing.
The inputs of this card are power, and the outputs of this card are also power, which means that if you actually make it good, it is self-fulfilling, right? The inputs are also the outputs. So you have to make it bad. It can't be that. Like, you can't let it be what it is. And that is the mistake, is that the inputs are the outputs. That's fundamentally what's going on here.
Yeah, I think that's legit. Okay, October, we have Zombie Scarlet Witch, yet another card that had to be buffed.
Her whole package had to be buffed. She had to get buffed. True. And then also, Zombie Giant Man got like 3 points of power, right? Yeah, I mean, I think you could argue that this card itself was less off than Shou Lao. But taken in the context of the zombie package, I'm not sure I want to make that argument.
Yeah, I think that is both true and fair.
I'm not sure it's fair. I think I might be skating the I might be shading the argument a little towards the point I'm trying to make. But I do think that the zombie package was more off than Shou Lao is what I will say. That was more bad than Shou Lao is good.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird trying to compare like 5 cards to 1.
Yeah.
You know, where like these cards did not work unless you played at least like 3 of them together. Really, I mean, like Zombie Scarlet Witch could like kind of stand on her own, but not really.
You want to chuck her in the Merlin pile where it's just like a question mark?
It is weird because her entire season was like her deck.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know.
We'll chuck her in the Merlin pile. We'll come back to her at the end. So if I'm not mistaken, where we currently are 2 cards that are definitively better balanced than Shou Lao for a season pass. Those are Agamotto and Galactus First Steps. 2 cards that are question mark. Those are Merlin and Zombie Scarlet Witch. And 6 cards that are definitely way more wrong than Shou Lao is. That's where we're at right now. 2 more to go. I wonder where Weapon X will end up.
Spider-Punk.
I'll say Spider-Punk is better balanced than Shou Lao. I'll say it. I think this card is fine. Solid.
Yeah.
Galactus First Stepsy. I think it's maybe a little, like, maybe you could argue both Galactus First Steps, Agamotto, and this are all a little bit low. I would listen.
I think Galactus, well, okay, so Agamotto is not very replaceable.
Sure.
In terms of like other things you can do in the client, right? It's just like this is just
one
thing that is very unique to him.
Yeah.
Galactus has other competition, but he is basically the best at doing his thing.
Yep.
And Spider-Punk as a 3-cost thing that has like some move synergies, some afflicty synergies, but is mostly just inputting power or outputting power.
Yeah.
This is like, it's replaceable, you know? I think that out of those 3, that is the one that is most skippable, probably.
Yeah, I think he's quite good though. I really like the way they designed this guy, where he can be like either either a role player in a full move list or like one of your better cards in a non-full move list. I think that's nice. I think it's just a really, I think this guy's like kind of a design real success, honestly. Like I like the space they put him in.
I think it is cool where, yeah, it could be a 3/7, right? Which is fine. 3/7 that also you get to distribute the power a little bit.
Yep.
But if you want to treat him like he is Human Torch, you can do that too. And certainly this is a much more fair version of Human Torch.
Yeah.
I would rather just have that have been the standard from the outset of Marvel Snap's inception.
Yeah, I think this guy is pretty clearly a card I think is, even if you think he's a little bit low, Shou Lao is more than a little bit high. I'll say that, right? Even if this guy's like a 6 and they should be aiming at like a 7.5, Shou Lao is still more wrong than he is. You know what I mean? That's fine. I think that's fair. Who's next?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would change about Spider-Punk.
Get 3 for him. Like, that's sort of the thing about all these cards. Is like, if you like, when I say these cards are all a little bit weak, I would basically shrug if they all got a point of power. Oh, Galactus First Steps is 613. Oh, Agamotto's a 511. Oh, that's the worst comparison because so much of his power is not his body. But you know what I mean, right? Like, all these guys got a point of power. I'd be like, okay, like that's fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if like 3/4 Spider-Punk ended up getting like Rocket and Groot treatment, where it like gets dinged a little bit at some point, ends up in the same spot it's in now. But whatever. Anyway, December we have Weapon X.
You remember those fart noises that I didn't make for Esme Cuckoo? You know,
I remember them fondly and vividly.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually make them for Weapon X. He deserves it. There you go. There you go. Also, that was really sick. You covered your ears with headphones on.
But it made it louder. Yeah. That's what I wanted. I was like, oh yeah, give me that sweet fart
Yeah, I hope that
ASMR
worked for
game. Thank
somebody
you.
out there. Yeah, no, this card on
I
every
don't think
level,
it's
I am suspicious
I
of
don't
this
think it's
card's design.
bad. I don't think
I
it's
do.
bad.
I do.
I think you only have 12 slots in destroy, and
Yes.
like the deck already has like its death and its null, and this is like
Yes.
on a very awkward part of the curve, and it's not ideal. It's not ideal.
All of those things are true, and that's what makes it bad. But I think, like, more generally, what I would point at is you criticize Captain Carter for really only having one home. Talk about a card that
Oh
only
yeah.
has one home. Like, you talk about a card that has one home, and you tell me Weapon X is going in anything. Weapon X has 0 homes. Weapon X has a theoretical home. I'm sure that keeps him warm at night on the streets.
Oh, he's not on the streets. He's in the Canadian wilderness.
No, he has no homes. You see, he's homeless.
Yeah, but there are no streets. It's just snow and trees.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, this is just like, okay, first of all, I get it, right? It's Wolverine season. We're going to do a destroy. Like, I get it. I understand where the impulse comes from. I understand sometimes it's worth diverging from the typical in order to make this stuff happen. But you have a chance to take your most iconic character and make him actually good. And instead we get this. And I just, personally, the biggest season pass miss this year. Counting all the ones that had to get, like, nuked into oblivion. I'm counting Mr. Fantastic First Steps.
Esme's worse. Esme's worse.
Maybe a worse card, but that's Esme Cuckoo. This is goddamn Wolverine. It's worse to miss on Wolverine. It's even worse to miss on the second try at a Wolverine.
So I sort of agree, but I do feel like this is one you could argue that this is the one that you could afford to miss because it's probably still going to sell well.
I don't know if that's true, but either way, it's just like, deliver. Give me a playable Wolverine. He's not even my guy. Weirdly, I'm like a Scott Summers guy. Give me a playable Cyclops before you give me a second unplayable Wolverine.
I hated Cyclops forever until you told me like the more recent updates.
What, that he's just like basically running mutant Al Qaeda out of Alaska?
Well,
he is effectively doing that. Like he is more or less running like a separatist state. It is very weird.
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it sounds like Al Qaeda does not sound great, but like communist revolutionary is how you put it initially.
He is
that's cool.
He is definitely also, like, if Scott Summers existed in real life, you'd be like, damn, that makes me feel unsafe.
Yeah.
He lives in Alaska with Magneto inside of a giant Sentinel that, spoiler alert, Magneto can still make move. So, like, it's effectively like living inside of a giant nuclear bomb. they just hang out there, and then the government goes there, and he like tussles with the government, and it's like, you would feel so unsafe, man. Like their basic, and we know they're the heroes, right? They're the X-Men, but their basic premise is like, just trust us, we're heroes, right? Trust us, dude. Yeah. Just trust us. Like, what do you like? What do you mean? Why don't you trust us? It's like fresh off of like running mutant ethno state. He's just like taking over part of Alaska. Like, that's, this happened in real life, you'd be so pissed. But yeah, like that like, he's cool. It's just like, it's very funny how there's suspension of disbelief to get into the superhero stuff, and then there's suspension of disbelief where it's like, that's just not how the world would work, man.
Yeah,
like there is absolutely no way, dude. Like the only reason that, like, he is effectively blackmailing the government by saying, if you kill me, the Phoenix Force will burn your planet. And That is what is allowing him to do this. It's not terrorism. That's what I'll say.
Oh yeah.
It's not that. That's I think is a reasonable description of what he's doing. Actually, what he's actually doing right now is being transported. His brain is being transported 10 years into the future because they're dealing with a whole thing. But the X-Men does, like, every 10 years, it's just like, all right, let's do a future story. Like, the picture, do you know the cartoon of the just marching out to the guy marching out to the cow, like, let's do some milking, and the cow is just like incredibly skinny? That's the X-Men with time travel. It's just like, all right, we're gonna do another Days of Future Past. Your brain from 10 years ago is coming into your brain. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's the thing, is Days of Future Past was such a banger, and they're just like, oh, we gotta just keep running this back. Yeah,
that's part of the X-Men's profile now. That's like that's like their version of Scorpion, right? What Scorpion is to Spider-Man, just random time travel stuff is to the X-Men. It's just like the villain of the week. Like that's what's going on. Oh, we need an X-Men event. All right, let's do some brain transporting. Let's get it.
I typically hate time travel stuff. Just I mean, Marvel has this problem already where we talked about, like, oh, this person died, and I just immediately snapped off. That doesn't matter. It never matters.
Yep.
And that is the problem with time travel. Is that, like, oh, all this stuff that happened that I was supposed to care about can just be undone. It's really silly. That said, I do enjoy, like, the time travel stuff when it's like Days of Future Past, and it's just a good story. You know, it's not about, like, going back in the past.
It's not about, Avengers like, Endgame is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they try to come back to the past to, like, change their future, but, like, we never know what happens to their future.
That actually is how they did this most recent event. We don't exactly know how it went down, is my understanding. Also, like, I will say this, I could have also just missed some issues, because keeping up with this event has been a huge pain in the ass. I don't know how comics people do it. They ended all the monthly X-Men's. They made a bunch of new serials for 3 months, and all of those are taking place in the world 10 years from now, controlled by Revelation, who is, I forget his Cypher, but like with Apocalypse's power. So instead of translating things, instead of being a universal translator, his words make people do what he says. So he's like the heir to Apocalypse. It's a whole thing. Anyway, it has been impossible for me to keep up with this crap. It has been so, like, maybe I missed something. It is entirely possible that I missed something, because I just haven't been able to keep up with. I have to read Omega Kids now, which is future Quentin Quire. I have to read, there's a future Wolverine that I have to read. That's a new serial. And all the serials that I was reading stopped for 3 months because they were all dealing with this. And it's like, I genuinely am not sure if I know what's going on. It's possible I have the full picture. It's possible I just don't.
They sort of did this for Age of Apocalypse, but they just changed each book to something else. So it was like they continued. It just became like, Uncanny switched to something else and whatever. But
it is a big pain for me to know what I have to read to understand this. Because there's not just that. There's also the actual book, Age of Revelation, prelude, and then finale. And then I don't know what I have to read. I don't know what I have to read. I just want to read. I want to go back to Kitty Pryde and her adopted kids with Emma Frost. I enjoyed that. But no, I have to read this instead. That was nice. I liked that. But no, can't read that anymore. Gotta give that
just take
up.
a couple months off. But yeah, I do feel like there should be a page in every book that just kind of like tells you, hey, read these things for the full story. I don't know.
It is certainly a, I really wish there was a better, like, the differences between comics and manga are vast. But I think the two biggest advantages that manga has are weekly releases, and there's just one thing. You want to
Yeah.
read the story, you go read the story. There's not a bunch of other crap, unless you're like a massive success and then you have like a bunch of anime-only movies, which are all like non-canon. But there's just not this level of garbage in it, where there's just the barrier to entry is so much higher. You get less of a weekly like dopamine cadence, and you get more of like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. If this was game design, there'd be some real critiques we could have of the comics model.
I agree. Speaking of game design critiques, we are now caught up to the present, January 2026.
Yeah.
Shou Lao.
So 8 cards that were definitely more off than Shou Lao was, if I'm not mistaken. 3 cards. No, sorry. 7 cards that were definitely more off. 3 cards. Galactus First Steps, Agamotto, and did we have another one, or is it just them?
Spider-Punk was pretty good.
Yes, Spider-Punk. 3 cards, definitely better balanced for a season pass. More close to what a season pass should be than Shou Lao is. 2 cards, maybe. Merlin and Zombie Scarlet Witch. Merlin might be a little bit less well-balanced. Zombie Scarlet Witch might be a little too weak. But I think they're in the conversation range. And 7 cards that were definitely way more off than Shou Lao is.
Yeah, I would say 4 of them are stronger probably than Shou Lao.
And 3 of them are so weak as to not even have been released.
Carter, Esme, Weapon X, and then well, you could say like Viv and ZSW too, maybe.
Yep. It's not a wonderful situation. But the reason I wanted to have this conversation is to say, like, guys, it's going to be okay. The Shou Lao stuff, maybe it's a little too strong. There are a bunch of reasons for that. The numbers it makes are pretty big. It gets to play Merlin and Deafening Chord. Sometimes there's a Cosmo in there. And we don't have a lot of good combo decks that don't play Magic right now. There's a bunch of things going on. There always are. But I would take a Shou Lao 10 out of 10 times over a Weapon X. It's not even a question for me.
It's content, baby.
It's not even about it's being content.
Well,
it's just,
I don't mean content for you as a creator, but like for me as a person who wants to play games. It is content.
Sure. Yeah, I just largely want people to judge them by their actual failures. Does that make sense? People only judge them when they make a card that's too strong. And I think that sucks, because it's way worse when they make a card. No, not even way worse, but like even equally worse. People don't treat it like it's equally worse. You know what I mean? Like, it's always a problem when the card is busted. It's never a problem when the card just absolutely goes over like a wet fart. No one complains about that because they don't have to think about the card. And my point is this. If you are complaining about Shou Lao, keep that same energy for Weapon X. Complain about that too. I'm not even going to tell you to stop complaining about Shou Lao. I'm offering you another thing to complain about. This should be all upside for you. You should take this opportunity. But right now, I just feel like like there's just not enough understanding of this, where it's like, this isn't even their biggest failure of a season pass in the last 2 season passes. This guy is way closer than Weapon X is. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, but like they're probably having fun with Weapon X, so why would they complain about it, you know?
It's really stark to me that people basically only ever complain when something is good, and not when it's just like, this month didn't matter. This month was the exact same. Like, what they'll do is they'll complain about the meta being bad and then not connect that to the cards coming out being bad. They'll be like, oh, this meta is stale. It's like, yeah, I wonder why that is. Like, what? Why do you think the meta was stale in December? Huh? Good question.
Well, every week I got more win 8 games with Weapon X in my deck quests.
I'll say this. I also think that one of Marvel Snap's unique advantages is that it's able to do balance changes very often, right? This naturally protects it against people noticing that the cards that come out suck, right? It doesn't have a natural protection against a card being too good, but it has a natural amount of metagame movement. That means that it's more acceptable from the player base for a card to be ass because it's not relying on that new card to make the metagame not stale as much as another card game would be. If Pokemon Pocket or whatever had a flop rate as high as this, it would be a really big deal because you'd be playing the same damn cards for 6 months. But with Marvel Snap, those cards are going to be all different, so you're going to feel different about it. And you don't feel like it's as big of a problem that these cards come out weak because it's not actually having the negative impact it would have in another game. Largely, is this a reason to make more dog shit season pass cards? If people are only going to get mad when you make something that's too good, what if you just made a bunch of dog shit forever? Is that good?
Well, I imagine for keeping down complaints on the internet, then yes, but I do imagine that if cards are bad and also they are not like cool characters, it is probably not going to sell very well.
Right. So I've cracked the code. You do, okay, check it.
Bunch of bad Wolverines every month.
Yes, dude. Bad Wolverine, bad Hulk, bad Iron Man, bad Spider-Man. Just run it up. Print bad. Who are the 12 most popular characters in Marvel? That's our next 12 season passes. They're all going to be dog shit. I have invented the infinite money machine. We are going to make so much money. It's perfect. And then they'll call us great card game designers, Jerry. They'll call us great card game designers because we didn't fall into power creep. We did it. It's gold, Jerry. Gold. They should hire us right now. Glenn Jones. I am dropping knowledge bombs on you right this second, Glenn Jones.
You think Glenn Jones, if he was listening, made it an hour into the podcast?
I am surprised anyone makes it an hour into.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know, maybe. It is what it is. I
think you got to figure out like who the bangerest character is, and then like when the months are slowest. Like the summer months are the slowest. You got to do like 1, 2, 3, like Spider-Man, Wolverine. I don't know, whoever the hottest woman in Marvel is.
Right, Ghost Spider, dude. It's a Glen's. It's a Glenn season. It's a Gwen season. Just do a Spider-Man season and then a Gwen season. Print money. Every card is dog shit. Every card is terrible. just do Spider-Man season number 7. Just absolutely cash in. Just give me a Thor that sucks also. Give me a second bad Thor. Put that on the menu. Give me a bad Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom. Put that on the menu. I'm cooking. I'm in. Make that card terrible.
I wonder. I keep hearing about Marvel Rivals stuff, like not even from the internet because I'm not on Twitter very much anymore. But I imagine it's very popular there. You know, like all the Squirrel Girl stuff or whatever.
I imagine it's very popular there.
I imagine
on
that
the
there's
internet.
Still like this, yeah, I imagine there's still discourse happening on Twitter, but like I don't know for sure.
Sure, yeah.
But I have people that bring up like, oh, have you seen this new rival skin? And I'm always like, no. And it's
have you seen Rogue's gigantic ass?
Well, the ones that came up recently were like Punisher's giant ass.
Nice.
Not recently. This was, I don't know, months ago, but like, I wonder if you could do a round of those. You know, it's like, oh, here's all Hulk in a thong or whatever.
Yes, dude. You know what they do in gacha games? They do like like summer vacation skins. So it's like Saber
we have
from
some
Fate.
Of those.
It's like Saber from Fate in like a bikini, which I mean, I guess using Fate as an example is just like cheating here because they have the absolute most love of fan service of any franchise I've ever seen in my entire life, right? Which makes sense given what Fate is. Fate,
Nikkei?
I don't know, man. Fate is a series that literally started as an erotic visual novel. Like there's porn in that series. That's the baseline.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Today I learned.
Yeah. Like it's actually
Thank you,
kind of
KM.
crazy that like that like it's literally a porn game that just got really popular. Now granted, pretty minimalistic amount of it is porn. But it is there. Like it is like a percentage of the game. That's real. And it's one of the funnier things I think actually that like Japan has produced is that whole thing. Anyway, they love doing it. Oh my god, do you have any idea how many like bikini Joan of Arcs I had in that game? Oh my god. It's everywhere. Marvel Snap needs to tap into that. And then one thing they did a lot is they understood who the moneymakers were, and they would make 8 billion of them. They would be like, we know who you want. We know what face you're looking for here. Here's another girl that looks like Saber. Here's another girl that is Saber. Here's another costume for her. And every one of them is a different character. And I'm just saying, Marvel Snap, start taking some notes. Start taking some notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Just print money.
Print money. Hook up to the money printer. We've invented the infinite money glitch. And I think I gotta tell you, one of the things I noticed, I recently caught up on Spider-Man and Venom. MJ is the new Venom, by the way. And the person who draws MJ, I don't really know the right way to put this. I have never felt that anyone is hornier for the person they're drawing than the person currently drawing Mary Jane Watson. Every single pose she hits, every outfit she wears. It's not like it's relatively tasteful considering what we're talking about is Fate here, right? But oh my god, whoever is drawing her loves her so much. Oh my god, it is unbelievable what they do with her. Her breakup scene is like, if a girl that looked and dressed like that broke up with me, I don't know what I would respond to that like. Like, it is one of those things where like, that was genuinely my thought reading this, was just like, I am crushed for even like considering the situation of that. And like she's hitting poses the entire time too. Like it's just she's like positioned in such a way the entire time. It's so sick. Anyway,
well,
new Venom should have been.
I'm dumping you, and I also got to make you remember. Like
I'm dumping you. I'm also the
hottest
hottest person you will ever see in your entire life. Sorry,
yeah,
dude.
but that's the thing is the guy's probably like, oh, it's all right. I was free rolling. Like
he was crushed. Poor Paul.
Well, yeah. Yeah, R.I.P. Paul.
R.I.P. Paul, man. But yeah, it's like the scene of this, like it's so insane. The scene of I'm breaking up with you is like backlit with like heavenly light. Like imagine a girl breaking up with you and it's just like soft, serene clouds, bright light blowing in through the window. The most picturesque moment you've ever seen. Like if the dialogue was like, "Will you marry me?" it would have also fit the panel.
That's what I was thinking too. Paul rolls up and he's just like, "Oh my god, she's proposing."
Yes, like it's unbelievable how that scene is written. It's very just like, here, damn, you guys want this guy out of this? Fine, like here, it's what you wanted. Enjoy it. Here's me drawing it as beautifully as I possibly can. It rocks.
So why did she break up with Paul?
Okay, so I don't even know if it's worth explaining what Paul is, But my basic understanding is she broke up with Paul because she's okay. This is complex. I'm gonna dumb it down for the sake of the joke because she's currently in a relationship with the Venom symbiote.
Okay.
Did
it feel like emotionally cheating on Paul, and she was like, "This is wrong"?
Not exactly, but like they hadn't been intimate in a while because she didn't feel comfortable having sex with him while bonded to the symbiote because there'd be a third person there. Like, this is canon. She says this.
You know what? That kind of makes sense, honestly.
No, it does. It's just like, Jesus Christ, you're putting this guy through the ringer. He looks at her and he goes, "Is
not
this
you,
why we
Paul,
haven't been intimate recently?" She's like, "Yeah, there's a third person there."
Did she actually say that?
Yes.
Does he know that she's Venom?
Yes. This is in the process of like her revealing that she's Venom. He asks if this is why they haven't been having sex recently.
Oh.
And she's like,
was he just like, I don't care? Like,
he's a very supportive guy. Yeah, like he the way they did the breakup,
Venom symbiote in the cuck chair, and let's go right now.
Venom symbiote doing that goated cuck chair techniques TikTok.
I don't know what that is.
It's something you see every so often, basically purely as slander on Twitter. But it's like a guy doing a TikTok where it's just goated cuck chair techniques, and he's just showing you different things you can do from the cuck chair. Pretty obviously a joke, but it's like one of them is like the student of the game, and he's like taking notes in a chair. The coach, and he's like, pointing things out. The audience, and he's like applauding or whatever. Like, whenever someone says something that could be described as cucked, that video gets posted at them, basically, right? Like that's kind of the premise of it. But yeah, someone should just do the Venom symbiote doing that. That would be sick. But yeah, like the breakup scene is basically Paul being like, I need to be a better boyfriend to you. I don't care what issues we have. We need to work through it. And MJ being like, Paul, backlit serenely, angels in the distance, choir playing, I'm breaking up with you. It's so sick. It's not a very good comic, but it is really funny. It is really, really funny. I'm in for it. There's a symbiote cat who can remote control people.
Just like real cats.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Al Ewing is mega washed, man. I don't even know what to say. This guy made Immortal Hulk. I'm not saying Al Ewing is Kanye, but like, how like Kanye fans would be like, "Oh, he made My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I can't hate him." For a while it was like that. That's like Al Ewing and Immortal Hulk. Instead of being like having bad political beliefs, he's just making bad music. That's what's happening. It's like, man, Al Ewing, I really loved Immortal Hulk. I like Immortal Thor. I like Mortal Thor so far. I mean, I like his whole deal. But like the Venom stuff, I don't know. Maybe it's just like Spider stuff is too stupid for anyone to like write anything good with. Maybe it's not his fault. Maybe my goat isn't washed. But it's some
possible.
shit.
It's like you're I don't know. You're doing like these big scope fantasy things, and then it's just like, okay, well, now go write One Tree Hill.
That is actually real. Like when Al Ewing is in his bag, he's doing like esoterica. When Al Ewing is in his bag, he's comparing the Hulk to the Tree of Life. Like when Al Ewing is in his bag, he's doing like Aleister Crowley, As Above, So Below, but with the Hulk. That's what Al Ewing does. And they're like, what we need you to do right now is write MJ breaking up with Paul. Maybe it's like, not his fault.
Well, you see, gotta leave room for Jesus, and in this case, Jesus is the Venom symbiote, and he's just like, yeah, okay, that's all we got.
Yeah, when Al Ewing is in his bag, he's writing a comic that you can read. Like this is a really like in his bag moment for Al Ewing. One of the later issues of Immortal Thor, towards the end of that run, he wrote a comic where if you read it front to back, every page you can read backwards. Like if you flip a page backwards, it also reads forwards as a way to express like time fuckery happening in the timeline, which is really great use of the medium. He is really good when he is in his bag. It is really impressive stuff. And then they're like, yeah, go do some spider schlock. go write spider stuff, dude. Just go phone this one in.
Go
You're
make
the
a
Venom writer
CW
now.
show.
You're the Venom writer now. You're in the Spider-Verse. Good luck. And it's just like, he's so far removed from being a guy who's good at doing that maybe it's just genuinely not his fault. Maybe I'm starting Not His Fault FC, but for Al Ewing.
It's one of those things where it makes me wonder about the industry where like, did he pick and choose, or were they like, no, you have to do this, you know?
They've got Al Ewing in the spider mines. They got him strapped to a desk, like, write Venom right now. Go write Venom. Go give me an esoteric comparison for Venom, you jerk. Go find some esoteric, like, 17th century lore for this guy. Do it, Al. And he just hasn't done it. And so he's instead he's writing One Tree Hill. Like, yeah.
Well, it could also just be like him being like, well, I haven't done this yet. You know, let's try my hand at this.
As far back as I can remember, I always dreamed of writing a rom-com.
Yeah.
Al Ewing, presumably.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, got that out of my system. Time to phone this one in.
I could imagine myself as like mid to late 20s where CEDH existed, and me being like, well, I haven't won a CEDH tournament yet, and I'm pretty sure I could.
In this analogy, Spider Schlock is CEDH. Just like, what
well,
genuinely.
It's this thing that's like tangentially related, you know, but is like really not in your wheelhouse, and you're just like, I could do that.
When is the last time a mainline Spider-Man was not dog shit? Like, I don't know enough about comics to know. This is me asking the audience. Because, like, when you ask for, like, a good Spider-Man, someone would be like, Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man, or the currently running Hickman Ultimate Spider-Man. The reason those are good is because they get to cover the origin story. When is the last time someone did something interesting with Spider-Man as he exists? When is the last time someone did that? Genuinely. When is it?
Well, I was going to say, like, oh, people seem to like Miles, but that was another kind of like origin story thing.
Also Ultimate Spider-Man. He's Ultimate Spider-Man. Literally Ultimate Spider-Man. He's the Spider-Man that happened after the original Ultimate Spider-Man died. That's what Miles is. When's the last time they did a Spider-Man? When's the last time someone did anything interesting with Peter Parker in the mainline Marvel universe? Genuinely asking. I do not know. I haven't read enough comics to know. I have genuinely no idea. No clue whatsoever.
Yeah, is there a storyline of like 30s or 40s Peter Parker that isn't dog shit?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I genuinely could not tell you. And it's kind of crazy that's just like, wow, just actually literally nothing, isn't there? Because, like, people have done interesting things with the X-Men, you know? If you want, like, an interesting X-Men run, you'll be able to find it. There's some stuff going on there. It's not all well handled, but there's, like, big swings being taken. There's interesting stuff. You pick a lot of X-Men, there'll be something to read for them, right? For Spider-Man, it's like, I don't even know what I should read, because every time I try to read anything, it's just like, this is the middest mid I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, it's like so contained, right? I mean, like, Daredevil is like Hell's Kitchen specifically in a lot of instances.
Daredevil's
Spider-Man
good, though. Like, you can find good Daredevil.
I know, but like a lot of that is like, oh, getting outside of this.
I don't think
outside of just like Hell's Kitchen. But like Spider-Man is just like, oh, I am in New York and like never leaves. Why is that?
I don't really think I agree with that characterization. Because I think, like, almost every running Daredevil recently has been pretty okay, right up until there was one really bad one that I just, like, I didn't enjoy. But basically most Daredevil has been pretty good. Like, the vast majority of Daredevil, like, maybe it's like, you know, not film, as we might say, it's been
Yeah.
pretty good. Whereas, like, most Spider-Man, I think it's a tone difference. Spider-Man has to be
Oh,
lighter.
certainly. Yeah.
And so, because of that, it can never do anything half as cool as President Joe Biden is actually a zombie controlled by the hand that Elektra has to kill. Or it can never do anything as cool as Elektra is Daredevil. It doesn't have that latitude, right? Like, it just has to be a little bit goofy. And that's fine. But it's also not very good at being that. Because there's so much lore and so much backstory and so many characters that you have to know that it doesn't actually get to be a lighthearted, goofy thing. It's instead a thing you have to take incredibly seriously if you want to understand what's going on, which then clashes with the unserious tone. And that's the problem with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can do serious stuff and still maintain a sense of humor about it in terms of like maybe as a coping mechanism, or you're just unhinged like Deadpool.
I'm not a big Deadpool guy, but like largely my point is that the seriousness of Spider-Man as a Marvel character detracts from anyone being able to write a good story with him. Because this guy is the franchise. He is the flagship. He is extremely serious. He has 50 years of lore and rogues galleries and things happening and all of that, right? So caring about him is a serious endeavor. But the actual comics are very silly. And the seriousness of caring about him gets contrasted against the silliness of, like, from Venom, random example. You have to know who Dylan Brock is. It's Eddie's kid. He was previously bonded to the Venom symbiote. You have to know that Flash Thompson is currently Agent Anti-Venom. You have to know about the cat, Sleeper. You have to know about Rick Jones. You have to know about all these people. And it's like the seriousness of knowing about all of that contrasts with the lighthearted tone that it takes in a way that I think is genuinely kind of detracting from being able to enjoy any of it. And it's why when you get to something like Ultimate Spider-Man, not only do you have to know less because it is set up in the comic, it's a totally different universe, it's also a more grown up and serious thing, which makes it tonally fit with what the character is and how seriously you have to take him. And so that's largely my contention, is that like mainline Spider-Man just is caught in that trap. It can't ever be simple, despite the fact that the core appeal of Spider-Man is actually the simplicity. He's a good guy. Like, that's the appeal, right? Like, he's the hero. He's the relatable good guy. But it can't be that simple in 2025. They're not allowed to do that because 75 years of things have happened.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense, but I don't know. I mean, when you are doing those stories where you are eventually coming to the conclusion of like, oh, we need to like up age this guy a decent amount, you know, like we can't write him as like early 20s anymore. He has to be like a 30-year-old. How does that shift? Theoretically, that should shift the tone of the book.
That's what Ultimate Spider-Man is basically, right? Like the current running Ultimate Spider-Man is like, he's 35, he has 2 kids, he's married, like, and it does shift the tone of the book. The problem is in mainline Spider-Man, he's legally mandated to be, I don't know, 28 and single. And you can only, that's it forever.
Just perpetually, yeah.
Yes. And yeah, it's very, it doesn't work for a bunch of reasons, but largely it's just like, when is the last time anyone has done anything that wasn't dog shit with this? Like, genuinely, I don't know what it is. Every time they're like, oh, we're going to go back to basics on Spider-Man. And then within 20 issues, it's like, I'm Silk and I have pheromones that make me super horny for Peter Parker. And it's like, what the hell? Like, you get 20 issues into this stuff and you start doing this. And it's just like, it's the Spider universe is really bad. It's really bad.
See,
and
again, with the industry, like 20 issues and that's where you're going. Like, did you not have any sort of like timeline thought out or laid out?
No. That's sort
Oh
of
my
the thing.
God.
No, they don't. Like, it's just part of the beauty of serialized works is they are in dialogue with their audience a lot of the time. Like,
Yeah, I hate it.
I like that. I think that's awesome. I I I just genuinely like, if you're a comics fan, give me some good Spider-Man, because mainline Spider-Man. Everything I've read, I've just come away from it like, this is butt cheeks. Like, genuinely, this is terrible. It's been really bad. Also, I gotta tell you, I'm a big Black Cat fan. I like Black Cat. We talk about people defined in relation to Spider-Man. Turns out I don't like Black Cat. I like Jed McKay's Black Cat. Because I've been reading the new
Okay.
Black Cat, and it's like, I don't know about this. Like, I think there is maybe something to be done here, but I don't know about this. Turns out I didn't like Black Cat so much as I liked that run of Black Cat. Like, all right, my bad. Like, that's on me.
I think that's how most comics are.
Mm.
It's just like, oh, I like this writer or this artist or whatever, you know, or this specific storyline, like big picture stuff. But then someone else takes over and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, part of why I like Moon Knight is he's just clearly Jed McKay's favorite, like, glup shitto. So whenever he just wants to, like, do something cool, he does it. There's a bit in Moon Knight where Taskmaster, by the way, is a guy who I'm just really enjoying showing up in places. Because every time Taskmaster shows up, there's just a decent chance he's going to do the funniest shit you've ever seen. There's a bit where he's fighting some mooks, and he's like, let me show you this technique I learned in Tibet, and does a bunch of, like, fancy hand signs and says he's going to do a domain expansion and then just shoots someone in the head. He's like doing a Jujutsu Kaisen technique, and then instead the whole technique is just
domain
shooting
expansion.
Someone. Yes, he rocks. He says the words domain expansion. Yes,
That is really dumb. I hate
he
that.
rocks. I love him. But there's a bit in the Moon Knight thing where, like, the villain is a rich guy who's looking to hire mercenaries, and you get, like, clips of him interviewing the mercenaries. And in his interview with Taskmaster, he's like, last time I fought Moon Knight, he crashed a helicopter into the building I was in order to get to me. I do not feel like reliving my own personal 9/11. And then he walks out of the room. Like, that's I enjoy that, right? Like, I think that's just, Taskmaster consistently shows up doing something insanely stupid and dropping lines like that. I like Taskmaster a lot. But like, I have no idea if that's just like he had a couple good lines or whatever. But Moon Knight is full of stuff like that, and I think it's largely because that's Jed McKay's baby. My own
Weird.
person. Those are literally those are the words he says, by the way. I'm not paraphrasing. Like,
no, I believe it. I mean, it sounds like a lot of this is like just taken from pop culture. You know, it's like you said, it's
like
having
it's
a conversation
dialogue,
with the
right?
audience, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can sense a bit of insecurity in the way they reference manga, and I would be too, right? Like, it is like, oh, you guys read this too. We know what you are. But it's also like, I do feel like in order for comics to really acknowledge that, what they'd have to acknowledge is, like, again, we talked about, like, the 1 week schedules and all of that. I don't know. I've gotten way more into comics because of Marvel Snap. I do have to thank Marvel Snap for that, you know? Good for you. Thank you.
They got your ass.
They got me. They're like, I enjoy it. It's nice to have extra stuff to read. I like it. But yeah, that's sort of, I just realized I did 30 minutes on how much I hate Spider-Man. I'm basically Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I gotta get me and
you know what you have to do is you have to become Spider-Man yourself.
Here's the thing is, as much as I like whine about this, I have no better ideas. I think it's sort of just a fundamentally impossible task. What are you gonna do? Like, you're trying to rebuild the mythos? Every time they've done that, they've ended up with Silk. Don't do it. Ain't worth it. Like, just go, oh, I'm gonna write a grounded street level Spider-Man. He's gonna fight Kingpin. Yeah, nobody's ever had that idea before. Right?
No, I think it is you finish the story. Like, the the bones of the origin story are good, you know, to the point where yeah, they can keep retelling it and people will continue eating it up. But what happens when he actually grows up? Like, what is the trajectory of like this person, this character?
Like, what do you want to say about it, right? And the answer is, we don't want him to ever grow up. We need him to stay 28 and single forever. And so it's like, oh, I guess I can't do that. So it's an unsolvable problem. Like, there's no good writer who can deal with that. Just if you are mandated to keep your character uninteresting and never finish his story, well, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, then you're screwed. But I don't know.
No, like, that is true. I want to be super clear. That is Marvel editorial mandate.
That is so dumb.
Yep, that's Spider-Man. Sorry.
Someone needs to write fanfic. I realize that's kind of like a loaded term, but like fanfic of like Old Man Logan, but just with Peter Parker, you know?
It's they'll do it, but it'll never be canon. Like they'll do like an Old Man Logan type thing, but yeah, it's crazy. I will say that, like, I was really struck by how much I enjoyed of slice of life Peter Parker in the Ultimate Spider-Man run. The Bendis one. Like, where it's just like his relationships with like Gwen Stacy and MJ and Kitty Pryde, and like generally, like, I was shocked at how much that it reminded me of a manga, in the sense of like, it's a bunch of 17-year-old relationship drama with superpowers involved.
Yeah.
Very similar, right? But because of the release schedule, they weren't able to add as much depth to those relationships as I would have liked. And it's just one of those things where it's like, there are things they probably could do, but they are hampered by the simultaneous release schedule, the seriousness problem, and the editorial mandate, such that everything Spider-Man ever does is just going to be mid forever. Which is a long way of saying that that is clearly a good business strategy that Marvel Snap should adopt. 12 months of Spider-Man, every card sucks. That is my pitch. 12 months of Spider-Man, Marvel Snap, 12 months of Spider-Man, every card is terrible. They are all ass. And then you call it in theme with the Spider-Man comics, lose your license, and the game dies. That's my pitch.
I wanna get a skill of Venom MJ breaking up with Paul.
Dude. If this were Magic the Gathering, that would be card art. Like, there would be a card that's like a heartfelt goodbye. It would be one in a red, and it would be Tormenting Voice. And that is what that art would be. That is absolutely 100%. It's honestly probably more likely to happen to Secret Lair. Secret Lair person listening to this, get on this. Give me a heartfelt farewell or long-awaited parting. That's it.
It sounds like it's an amicable parting.
I don't know if I describe it in those terms. Paul wanted to stay together, but the audience wanted him to go. So
yeah,
very, very, voted off the island kind of vibes. But yeah, I dude, if I'm remembering correctly, she's wearing like knee-high boots at the time and like a mini skirt. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, she's
going from her breakup to the club or whatever.
She is genuinely just a model. Like, full stop. I think she actually is in canon at various times a model. That was part of her character way back in the day. But like, the way she is drawn, it's like, oh, that's Barbie. Like, if you saw that woman in real life, your eyes would explode. Like, you would not be able to handle that. It is
Barbie.
It is absolutely insane. Anyway, I mostly mentioned that to say that that seems to be the only thing Spider-Man can do, is just like draw really hot MJ. Like, that's what they've got going for them. Like, they have an editorial mandate, and it is MJ is smoking hot and nothing interesting can happen. Like, that is,
I mean, if it's working for them,
They need to get an MJ. It's really the lesson here. They need just like the hottest woman in Marvel Snap. They need MJ, and they need the variant to be her breaking up with Paul. That's what they need. That's what they need. They need to do that.
You get some good titles out of that too.
Dude, their title, everyone I know who knows about Marvel lore is mad about their titles, which is not many people, but they're like, why are all these titles so sucky and there aren't any like good lore titles? It's like, I don't know, because no one knows about
there should be like, good lore titles.
Yeah, there kind of just aren't. It's weird.
I agree.
I don't know why, but yeah, it's super sick. That like all my titles are like, I've never taken a bath in my life, and I can't put like, you know, I don't know, with great power comes great responsibility. Like it's all just like, I'm taking a shit right now. That's shout out to Marvel Snap. I appreciate that, because I definitely am. I've been taking a shit this entire podcast. You cannot prove that isn't true.